They don't fire bullets, they type codes. In the shadows of the internet, Iran and Israel are already at war. Chapter 1. The Rise of the Digital Front. Surveillance cameras pan across a dark server room. Lines of code scroll rapidly on the screen. Outside, satellite dishes rotate, tracking signals around the globe. Inside, two teams of elite digital warriors are on opposite sides of a silent battle. One is Israel's secretive Unit 8200, a cyberarms powerhouse that operates with the intensity of special forces. The other is Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, or IRGC, a shadowy organization with its own army of hackers. These two groups have engaged in a secret conflict, a game of digital cat and mouse that has rewritten the rules of warfare and raised the stakes. For the future of conflict in the Middle East and beyond, their weapons are lines of computer code. Their battlefields are the invisible pathways of the internet. Yet the consequences are anything but abstract. As we dive deeper into this unseen world, we'll explore how these cyber skirmishes can cripple economies, disrupt essential services, and even lead to physical destruction. This is a story of a new kind of war where the enemy is often unseen, and the battles are fought not on land or in the sky, but in the shadowy realm of ones and zeros that govern our digital world. Chapter 2. Stuxnet. The Game Changer. A close-up of a malfunctioning centrifuge at an Iranian nuclear plant in Natanz. The year is 2010. The location is Iran's nuclear facility in Natanz. The target, the heart of Iran's nuclear program, thousands of advanced centrifuges used to enrich uranium. Suddenly, a digital weapon called Stuxnet is unleashed. The result? Chaos. The centrifuges start spinning wildly out of control and exploding. Within weeks, Iran is forced to acknowledge the attack. But they blame it on an electrical problem. No one realizes the extent of the damage done until years later. Experts believe that Stuxnet was created in a joint U.S.-Israeli effort, a joint venture aimed at crippling Iran's nuclear program without a single shot being fired. Why? Because Stuxnet did more than just cause physical damage. It sent a clear message. There are some things that your country simply can't do. It's marked a turning point in the cyber arms race between Iran and Israel. For the first time, a digital weapon had been used with devastating effect, and the genie was out of the bottle. Once the potential of cyber attacks was realized, there was no going back. Chapter 3. Iran Strikes Back. Fast forward to today, and the tables have turned. In 2012, Iran retaliated against the West with a massive cyberattack on Saudi Arabia's oil giant, Saudi Aramco. In seconds, 30,000 computers were infected, wiping out 15 terabytes of data and shutting down operations for 5 days. The message was clear: we can hit you where it hurts. Then in 2016, Iran set its sights on Israel, targeting the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. Computer screens glitch as trading is halted. While no financial losses are reported, the psychological impact is undeniable. This is a new era of warfare, one that goes beyond physical borders and targets the very core of a nation's infrastructure. Iran isn't holding back. In 2021, Israeli water plants were hacked, threatening to poison the supply of 500,000 people. Chlorine levels in swimming pools were to be raised to deadly levels. Fortunately, Israeli authorities intervened in time. The implications, however, were clear. No system is truly safe. Chapter 4. Mossad's Digital Assassins. Now the playing field gets even more dangerous. Enter the Mossad, Israel's legendary intelligence agency. Known for its daring missions, it has a new mission in the digital realm. Its target, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, Iran's top nuclear scientist. On November 27, 2020, he meets his demise outside of Tehran. The weapon, a remotely controlled AI-powered machine gun. No direct evidence links Mossad to the assassination, but Israeli officials are said to be involved. What makes this case so chilling is the potential use of technology. It's an unmanned autonomous weapon system or laws. The idea is that such a system would make it harder for another state or non-state actor to attribute the attack to a particular individual. And that means that if laws are ever used, there's a chance that the incident will not be considered an act of war. And with that ambiguity comes the risk of escalation. It's a dark turn in the digital arms race, blurring the lines between human control and artificial intelligence. Chapter 5. Cyberattacks on civilians. But it's not just high-profile targets that are at risk. In 2017, a ransomware attack hits the UK's National Health Service. Hospitals are unable to access patient records or schedule appointments. Doctors are forced to resort to pen and paper. From hospitals to metro stations to banks, no one is immune. The number of cyber attacks targeting civilians is rising. In 2022, Ukraine faced a wave of attacks that left thousands of ATMs unusable. Money is withdrawn from accounts without authorization. Images show cash strewn on the streets as people struggle to understand what happened. In another case, the water supply of the city of Oldsmar, Florida, was infiltrated. An attacker attempted to raise the levels of a chemical used to disinfect the water supply to dangerous levels. Luckily, the attempt was noticed and thwarted, but the implications were chilling. The water supply of a major American city could have been compromised. This raises serious questions about the safety and security of our digital infrastructure. How can we defend ourselves against an invisible enemy who can strike from anywhere in the world? What are the limits of a cyber attack? Can it ever be justified? And what does it mean for the future of warfare? Chapter 6. The war expands. This invisible war is not just between Iran and Israel anymore. The United States Cyber Command has joined the fray. Iran's elite hacker group, the Cyber Avengers, infiltrated a U.S. defense contractor, stealing sensitive information and releasing it to the public. Meanwhile, Russian hackers linked to the Kremlin target U.S. government agencies and private companies, seeking to disrupt and steal sensitive information. And China's People's Liberation Army engages in large-scale cyber espionage, targeting everything from government agencies to private businesses. Even as the U.S. ramps up its offensive capabilities, Iran continues to retaliate. In February 2023, a massive DDoS attack crippled the Bureau of Land Management, a federal agency responsible for managing public lands. This attack was part of a larger campaign by Iranian hackers targeting U.S. government agencies. At the same time, Israel finds itself at the center of an international conflict. In October 2023, Hamas launched a surprise attack on Israel. As Israel retaliates, it faces attacks from multiple fronts, both physical and digital. Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system has successfully intercepted hundreds of missiles fired by Hamas, but what many don't realize is that Iron Dome wouldn't be possible without a robust cyber defense system that protects against attacks on critical infrastructure. As Hamas continues to fire rockets, Israel must contend with a constant barrage of cyber attacks aimed at crippling its defenses. Every launch by Hamas is met with a digital counterattack, targeting everything from websites to power grids. The stakes couldn't be higher. If successful, these attacks could undermine Israel's ability to defend itself, leaving it vulnerable to a full-scale invasion. Now the question is, how do you defend yourself against an enemy you can't see? This is a question that governments and organizations around the world are struggling to answer. As the threat of cyber attacks grows, so too does the need for sophisticated defenses. But there is hope on the horizon. Advancements in technology are leading to new ways of detecting and preventing cyber attacks. From artificial intelligence-powered systems to blockchain-based security solutions, the future of cybersecurity is filled with innovation and promise. This war has no sirens, but it's very real. Israel and Iran face off in our next episode. The Shadows of Africa. Stay tuned.